Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's session, day 26, on how to motivate yourself. This is going to be one of the best days of your life. And I mean it with every sense of the word. And if you are one of those people who take pleasure in bashing motivational speakers, you're going to confess your sin after today, and then you go back and start thanking them. But we will even do something much more, because we're not just going to be talking about motivating you from the outside, because come to think about it, like you will see later, if you don't move yourself, no one can move you. And that's why we're talking about how to motivate yourself every single day. Who would like to be motivated every day? Can you imagine how significant your life, your relationship, your business, your purpose in life, your wallet, your finances, your health? Can you imagine the change if you're motivated every day to work on your health, to work on your business, to work on your finances? Do you know what 365 days of unbroken motivation can do for you? And then to think that motivation is actually very, very healthy. It's extremely healthy. It is a health practice. So, and I also believe that motivation is the missing key in the success equation. Many people are not succeeding, and they can't link it to the fact that they don't motivate themselves every single day. So we are going to do just that today. Okay. Now, and I want to say up front that without motivation, you're as good as dead. Pause. Type that in the chat. Type that. Those of you watching on YouTube, type it in the chat. Those of you watching on Facebook, type it in the comment section right now. Remember, I always want you to interact during this coaching session, because it's not a seminar. It's not supposed to be a one-way thing. And then the way you interact is by typing the aha moments you get in the comment section. So without motivation, you're as good as dead. And I'm going to prove it to you. But does it even need proving? Does it even need proving? If you're not motivated, the only thing that is working, that's keeping you alive, is that your lungs do not need motivation to keep taking in oxygen. Your heart does not need motivation, because I think it is part of the, I think it's called the autonomous part of the nervous system. So those things just happen automatically. But apart from your heart beating, your lungs, and then all these systems in your body working, even when you are sleeping, if when you are awake, you can't motivate yourself, then you are as good as dead. You're already dead, just waiting to be buried. This is why I always say to my clients, if you're alive, be alive. Oh, that's another thing to type in the comment section. I want you to own it. Type it. YouTube, type it in the chat section. Same thing. Facebook, type it. If you're alive, be alive. There's enough time to be dead. Trust me in that one. The guys who died 10 years ago are still dead. The ones who died, as you were being born, people were dying. Do you know they are still dead? Now that you are alive, you should be alive, because there's enough time to do dead. And the only key to making sure that you are alive when you are alive is to be alive. If you're alive, be alive. In your relationship with your spouse, be alive. In your business, be alive. Don't do half measure. That's why we're talking about motivation. If you do half measure, you get half result. In fact, you don't even get results. But if you go in with full engagement, then you're going to get results. Goodness gracious me. Yes. If you're alive, be alive. That's the quote you should put by your bedside. If you're waking up to live, be alive. Because without motivation, you're as good as dead. Nothing will work. Your relationship won't work. Your studies won't work. Your business won't work. Nothing will work. Your wallet won't work. Your finance, your bank account won't work. Your investment won't work if you are not motivated. So motivation is literally everything. And that's what we are going to be focusing on tonight. So tonight, there are 3 key things you're going to walk out of this session with. 3 key things you're going to walk out of this session with. So the first is you're going to learn how to stay motivated every day. Okay? That is gold. Be motivated every day. So to keep moving forward with your life's goals. And then I can fantastically handle this subject. I don't see, I'm not bragging or, blowing my trumpet, but I don't see anyone best fitted to handle this topic tonight, this session, than myself. Because I don't have down times. I'm motivated, and I'm going to tell you the secret. Okay? The second thing you're going to do, you're going to walk out of this session with is the keys to motivate yourself from within. To motivate yourself from within, not from outside, so that you don't have to wait. In fact, I remember, I'm not sure I can say it exactly the way he did, but I think Elon Musk once said that if you need motivation, if you need someone to motivate you to wake up in the morning and to brush your teeth and to do things, he said, you can't be an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship is not for you. Go do something else. Very, very true. So you're going to discover the key to motivate yourself. And the reason many people can't survive in business is that they lack motivation. They can't motivate themselves. And you're going to see that without motivation, it is impossible to succeed as an entrepreneur, as a small business owner. And third thing, you're going to work out with practical tips, things you start working with. Things I do, things I have studied the world's greatest people, leaders. I've read quite a number of biographies, and it amazes me how each of them talks about the same thing. Every one of them, single one of them, does the 5 things I'm going to share with you. Stay till the end to hear these 5 practical tips to implement the things that you're going to learn tonight. So why am I doing this, and who am I, and what gives me the audacity to be able to do this? Well, my name is Ogbo, Awoke Ogbo, and family and friends call me Ogbo the Great for a reason. I have had a phenomenal life that I'm very, very thankful for. Really, really thankful for. A fantastic career with 2 multinationals in energy, Shell and Chevron. Then the incredible privilege to work with the Stanford University through the Stanford Seed Program. And then interacting with the sharpest minds in business, the Stanford Graduate School of Business professors, and then often working together with them in the same room, in the same platform. That is absolutely amazing. And then apart from all those things, I know what I'm most proud of is my family life. Just having such a godly family, peaceful home where there is respect, there is love, there is godly choices, there is faithfulness. There's no amount of money that can that can buy the sort of peace that I have in my marriage and then in my family. Therefore, 3 things that I'm focused on over the next 1,000 days of this challenge. The first one is to help you to get financial intelligence skills. I read the comments and the kind of posts that people have on Facebook, and I really marvel at the amount of suffering, all because people don't have financial literacy. 99% of the sufferings and all the things people are complaining about in their financial lives has nothing to do with politics, has nothing to do with who is president, in your country has nothing to do with, not even with the economy, but it has everything to do with lack of financial literacy. And I'm going to fix that, because until you build your mind, until you become financially literate, financial intelligence will continue to elude you. You will rise and fall. This year you make some money, and then before December you lose everything. January you start all over again. And then some people make so much money at the end of the year, then in December they blow it up. They literally blow it up. By January they are gasping for air, and they've been living like this for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Second thing that we're going to deal with is business, scaling business. So if you're an entrepreneur or you're a business owner, this is your home. This is where you should be every evening, 8 p.m. Now, the third thing that we're going to be focusing on is family. I want to bring back family. I want to bring back family values to mainstream, because you can see how the family system is collapsing. You hear about all the, you see all the dirty fights, people have, once married people, they come in the open fighting and all kinds of things. You hear all the dirty stories. And then when you enter a room with 100 children, a significant, more than half of those children come from broken homes. That is wrong. We've got to fix that. We've got to change that. Type that in the comment section. We must change that. So I'm going to be helping you to bring back the family to where it's supposed to be. Let the family come back to the center of our existence. Now, so we have a brief 4-point agenda. So my work tonight is actually cut out for me on this slide. So first thing, we'll define what is motivation, because sometimes we actually need to start by understanding the words that we use. Because many times when you don't understand these things, if you don't grasp the concept, it's difficult to implement, and then you commit error. Because a lot of people on Facebook, it's a fad now to bash motivational speakers. I saw a video the other day about a goat, that jumped into the lion's cage, and the goat started going to confront the lion or something like that, and then there was a caption. And then someone said, "Oh, this goat has been listening to motivational speakers." I found that really very hilarious. So we define what motivation is. Then we talk about the types of motivation. Then I would teach you the motivation equation. This is one thing you should grasp and go to bed with tonight. And then for those of you who it's morning, you wake up with it. So you need to grasp this. If you're a business owner, you're employing people, or you're a professional, or you are a parent, or you're a student, you need to understand how we'll break it down. Because once you understand the equation, when we make this in scientific and mathematical, it becomes very easy to implement. Okay, then I'll share 5 practical implementation tips to use to make sure that you stay motivated every single day for the rest of your life, so that if you are alive, you be alive. Okay, so you can't be alive and then be living like you are dead. Remember, don't forget, when we started, I said, if you are not motivated, you are as good as dead. Okay, so let me pause here to ask every one of you, please go ahead and share this. If you think there's value for your network, that you've been getting value even so far in what we've talked about, please go ahead, share it on YouTube. Please share it. Just take a moment right now, click that share button down, share to your network. Okay, and then the title or the caption you can use when you share it is how to motivate yourself every day. So please do it right now, and then when you have shared it, come to the comment section and type shared, so that I know that you have shared it. So take a moment to do that, everyone. Yes, thank you. Sonu Sheikh, thank you. Tell us what countries you are watching from. Tell us what what countries you're watching from. Enrique, or is it Enrique Alvarez? Thank you for joining. And I'm sorry if I murder your name a little bit. There's Eng Mubarak, Abdirizak Ahmed. Thank you for being here. Haniel Livosero. Wonderful to have you here. Kwanele Sebanda, thank you for being here. Professor Will Oti, thank you for being here. Msute Emmanuel. Tell us what country you are joining from. Okay, thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Ayola, I can see shared. Olubimi shared. Please, if you haven't shared, please do. Adereti, thank you for sharing. Patricia has shared. Share this, share this, share this. Everybody, share this right now. And then when you share, type shared. On YouTube, do the same thing. Type shared, okay? All right, fantastic. I'm really excited. You know, you can't be talking about motivation and not be motivated, you know. So, pardon me if I'm running on all cylinders. My horsepower, this when I'm talking about motivation, is like 1,000 horsepower. Are you feeling it? I can't come to talk about motivation. I'm telling you what is motivation, and you are alive, you know. So, and some people are like that, you know. So without motivation, life is so boring and devoid of adventure. But motivation gives you all the adventure that you ever need in relationship. Everyone, thank you very much for sharing. Paul Obi, thank you. Zachariah Luca, thank you for joining us. Anne Chombo, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Emmanuel Agbai, thank you for being here. All right. So first of all, what is motivation? And I would like you to go ahead, even before I share my own slide, I would like you to go ahead in the comment section. When you hear the word motivation, what comes to your mind? Everyone type in the comment section. When you hear the word motivation, what comes to your mind? Everyone, type in the comment section. On YouTube, go ahead and type your comments. I read all your comments on YouTube, okay? What comes to your mind when you hear the word motivation? Okay. Alrighty. Marisa Bake, thank you for joining us. Yes, Ikechukwu says when he hears motivation, he thinks, and I like the way you put it, you know, he thinks about motive action. Wow, that is fantastic. So that is motive plus action. Patience Barivure, thank you very much for sharing. Adereti says when she hears motivation, what comes to her mind is pushing oneself to get things done despite challenges. This is a fantastic description. In fact, it's like you stole one of his slides, one of my slides that I'm going to be sharing. I like that expression, getting things done. And as far as I'm concerned, if you go to the university and then you don't come out with anything at all, come out with a skill to get things done. Get things done. Get things done. That's the only skill you really need. See, all those your big certificates, you know, the masters, the PhDs, and all the first class, whatever, they are useless if you are not motivated. They are useless if you can't get things done. That's why some people come out of the university with first class degrees, with second class upper degrees, and they are waiting for someone to employ them. They stay at home for 7, 8, 9 years waiting for someone to employ them. What is the problem? Motivation, lack of motivation. Okay, all right. So let me read a couple more from the comment because you actually have fantastic answers. Paul Obi says the push needed to achieve something. Excellent. You are all absolutely correct. Patience Barivure says to encourage someone. Fantastic. That is also part of it. Kingsley Indubeze says ability to be self-propelled. I love it. I'm looking at all the bombs that they are firing between Ukraine and Russia at this time, self-propelled, so they launch a bomb and the thing goes 40 kilometers, 60 kilometers, 100 kilometers, self-propelled. I love that. Msote says self-encouragement. Absolutely correct. Ayola says that which jumpstart. I like that. Jumpstart. Jumpstart your energy. These are fantastic words. I have to come back here and cut out these expressions because that's fantastic. Thank you, Ayola. Jumpstart. Jumpstarting. So you can imagine when you say jumpstart, I like the metaphor. You see, you try to start your car in the morning and it refuses to start. And then you bring a jump start and then you connect it to another battery and you jump start it. So thank you very much. That's really, really a beautiful metaphor. Okay, now, so what is motivation? Like all of you said, everything you contributed there is right. Okay, so it is the inner drive. It's an inner drive, first of all. So when you think about motivation, you think about inner drive. As you will see later, when we talk about the people who try to get that drive from outside, why it doesn't work and why they run into trouble. So it's the inner drive or reason that pushes you to take action or to pursue goals. So you can see like the jump start, which Ayola talked about, or like the self-propulsion. You see, it pushes you. So the objective of motivation is to take action and pursue goals, which in summary means to get things done. So do you see how the powerful relationship between motivation and getting things done? So you can actually type in the comment section, motivation equals getting things done. And then do you see how frightening it is if there's no motivation? So the reason things don't get done is because there is no motivation. Because if you don't have that drive to push you to take action and pursue a goal, then it doesn't happen. So this is why it's scary, when you have an unmotivated teenager, a child in the house, who is unmotivated. It is the nightmare of many mothers who have come to me to say, please, can you help our son? He is unmotivated. So motivation fuels action. Motivation is what helps you to overcome challenges. Through motivation, people have climbed tall mountains, done incredible things that you never imagined. Some 80-something-year-old people have jumped from the plane because that is something that they have in their bucket list to do. People have done incredible things, sailed the high seas, rough weather, because they were motivated. Women have, in fact, let me give it to African women. They are amazing, our mothers. And then some of them who were widowed, like I had a colleague in Shell, amazing lady. If I remember, your name was Ogechi, and I really want to give you some shout out, if you're listening to this. So the father died when they were all very young, and they were still like in primary school. And there were 4 siblings, and this woman raised all 4 of them. And then she described how there was a time that the mother had to sell her clothes in the market. Then they started doing petty trading until all these children were taken through the university. God bless our African women, African mothers. Please type it in the chat, and then I know there are also people from the Philippines. I'm sure in Philippines you have the same stories of how fathers and mothers sacrificed a lot. They were motivated by the desire to see their children succeed, and they did impossible things. This woman sold her clothes to feed her children, and then she started a small business, and they would sell every day. And I think if I remember correctly, she was a headmaster in secondary school. But she would come back from work, and headmaster or principal or something like that, if I remember her story correctly. So that's the power of motivation. Helps you to overcome challenges. Keeps you moving toward your goal. So without motivation, we will struggle to finish anything meaningful. And then have you seen people who start things and they never finish it and they have all that? Yes, thank you, Aderity. God bless our mothers. God bless African mothers. I will say the same thing for, I'm sure I see some names from India, Pakistan, different places. So God bless Indian mothers, Pakistanis mothers, Filipino mothers? And then for some of you joining from the Caribbean, I see some names that sound Caribbean here. God bless Caribbean mothers. That's so motivation is powerful. Motivation is what allows parents to sacrifice, to go against the odds in order to raise their children to become meaningful citizens of the world. All right, so let's look at types of motivation. There are actually different types of motivation in literature. There are actually up to 10 of them. But what concerns us in tonight's session will just be two specific types of motivation. Okay, so that's what concerns us because we're talking about how to motivate yourself every day. So let's talk about just two types. The first one is the extrinsic. Okay, extrinsic. That word can damage your tongue, so pronounce it very carefully. So the extrinsic is the motivation that comes from the outside world to the individual. So, and basically is the carrot and stick kind of motivation, is driven by external rewards or the avoidance of negative consequences. So that is extrinsic. And then, so something like you are driven to read and study for your certification exam because you know that if you take that exam and pass it, you are going to get a raise in your office. So that is extrinsic because without the exam, you probably wouldn't bother to read. So the exam forces you to read. And so there are all kinds of things also coming from the outside that people wait for something from the outside to motivate them. They're waiting for a very good government. So if the government is bad and the economy is bad, they lose motivation. Okay, so they flow with whatever is around them. Motivation is circumstantial. It comes from the outside. It's also these people who complain about motivational speakers. Because motivational speakers will do just what they do. They are their own individuals. So, but you can take what they said and then motivate yourself. But you expect motivational speakers to speak to you, and also then you sit at home and then watch what they say, the motivation to automatically solve all your problems, make money for you and all that. It doesn't work that way. Now, that's why I like the second type of motivation, and I prefer that one, the intrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation. So that one comes from within you. So you don't need anyone to push you. You don't need your wife to wake you up. You even don't even need an alarm clock, but you can set an alarm because you want to drive yourself. All right. So it's an internal drive to perform a task, to perform a mission. Why? Because of the inherent satisfaction that it gives you inside. The extrinsic thing might just be some kind of occasional happiness. Maybe they raise your bonus in the office. You feel happy for that moment. So it is that external outcome that is making you happy. But then this one, even if you do not get the outcome that you desired, you're still fulfilled within you by the process. The journey is still fulfilling because you have an internal drive. And then the big difference between both of them is that for the extrinsic, if that external motivation, stimulus is not there, that outcome will never happen. If that person encounters adversity, he drops the ball, he runs. So you can think about somebody who has, okay, let's even talk about a business. I was going to use the illustration that Jesus used about a hireling, somebody who is hired to keep the sheep. I think we can also relate to that. So you hire somebody to keep the sheep, to keep your sheep or your cattle, versus you, the owner. If that person you hired sees a lion coming from the distance, he will take off. But if you are the owner, you will react differently. So, and that's the way extrinsic and intrinsic work. It's the same way that a mother feels connected to her baby much more than the nanny that you hired. If anything serious is happening or something with the baby, the nanny, the mother is more motivated than the nanny. And then you've seen some horrible pictures of nannies abusing children. A normal mother who is not mentally ill will never do that, because the mother is more motivated from outside. So the nanny, you can compare that to extrinsic motivation, and then the mother to intrinsic. Okay. Now, one book I would recommend for every business owner, if you're an employer here, and even if you're an employee yourself, you work with human beings, you're a manager, a supervisor in your place of work, or you are a parent. This guy's book, Daniel Pink, Drive, is worth reading. It's something I will encourage you to put in your library. And then for many of the businesses, the corporations that I coach, I work for, when I go to do leadership development training for them, this is one of the books. Another book I usually recommend for all of them is the one written by Dale Carnegie. Okay, so that book is How to Win Friends and Influence People. If you want to go into business, can I suggest tonight that if you're already running your business, can I suggest tonight that this week you read that book, How to Win Friends and Influence People? And there's a lot of connection between Daniel Pink's Drive and then that book. So he talks about 3 motivations, the 3 things that drive human beings, most human beings. The first one is autonomy. These 3 things have changed my life. The desire to have control over your work, over your decisions, over your destiny. That is a big driver. And then sometimes, we have like a dominant one. Like if you're working with employees, or you have children, they will all have these 3. But usually one is dominant. Okay, so people want to have autonomy. And he was actually saying that many times people get jobs not because of salary or the big amount of money that you will give them. Because if you think about it, that's actually what he called motivation 1.0, carrot and sticks. But there are people who choose jobs that pay them half because of the autonomy. They just want to have control over their work, over their decisions, over their time. There are other people who are motivated by the sense of mastery to become the best. And then I find many of these kind of people in the university in Africa, because I do know that in some countries, university lecturers and professors are much, 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 much better paid than what they pay them in Nigeria. Much, much better paid. A friend was telling me about a university lecturer. He didn't talk about her rank, that earns 250,000 naira a month. And so she was saying by the time they finish all the deductions and then loans, cooperative, she's going back with less than 100. And this is an academic in the sciences. Now, she is not there because of the carrot, because there's no carrot there. By the way, for those of you who are not from Nigeria, 250,000 naira would be roughly like $150. That's what you're paying a university professor, 150, not even up to 150 or thereabout. So basically there are people who are motivated by other things other than money. That's the point you need to know. And money is not a very good motivator, by the way. Money is the worst. And so you have autonomy, you have mastery, and then you have purpose. The feeling that your work is meaningful and that you're contributing something larger. You know, there are people like that, like people who work in the social enterprise space. So I've met people who, okay, I remember a particular lady, you know, this particular lady comes to mind. She is incredible, has energy. She works with the young people in the country. She does not really think about it. She gets a kick, you know. This lady should be in her 60s, but she's really one of my heroes. She's single, she's not married, but she's like 24/7. She's working with children, mentoring them from all over the country, mentoring them, teaching them, and you can see tangible results, how these children are being transformed. That's purpose. Her work is meaningful to her, you know. So these are three important things. So let me ask you, look at the slide. Which one are you dominant? Which one are you motivated? Which of these three things drive you the most? Okay, which is the first one? Of course, you have the other two. But you see, you have autonomy, you have mastery, you have purpose. I think I have all three, but mine is very strongly purpose. I'm kind of purpose dominant. So that would be rank number one for me, purpose. Which is, and you can see that because you see, I'm doing this. This is what I do in business school that they pay me for. This is what organizations pay me to teach them. But I'm putting it out here free for you. I'm free for the world for 1,000 days. So you can tell that this is not money. So it's purpose. And I'm doing it because I truly believe that is very meaningful, that is changing lives and is changing businesses and is changing families. And I'm already seeing it. In fact, one of you who is a regular, and I think Timmy Perry might be in this call, he sent me a message yesterday that melted my heart, because yesterday, for some technical reason, the live didn't show. We had live event yesterday, but it was supposed to be streamed from Zoom, but for some reason Facebook could not connect to it, and then we couldn't solve the problem while the stream already started on Zoom. So it didn't happen yesterday, as it well, but of course I went and posted the replay. So it's right there. Day 25 is there on Facebook, is there on YouTube. And then he reaches out to me to say, "Sir, I didn't see you yesterday. I hope you're okay. That I was wondering that this is unlike you, that this is out of your character." That's amazing. So I explained to him this is exactly what happened. That's why I was not there. So he was like relieved. Thank God that nothing was wrong with me. Can you imagine? And then the other day, a lady living in Ireland sends me a very shocking message and says, "I want to give you some money for coffee for the work you do on Facebook." So can you see how motivation works? I wasn't motivated by the money, because if I am, do you know how much it takes, how much effort it takes to do this every single day? And then to teach you, to put it out there for the world. It takes a lot. So you have to understand what actually moves you. So let me read a couple of the ones you have in the comment section. Ayuba says, mastery first, autonomy and purpose. Fantastic. You see, we are all built differently. That's amazing. Aderity says, mastery dominant. Fantastic. Mastery dominant. Patricia says, autonomy dominant. Very, very good. So this is giving you a framework to actually become more self-aware and to understand your operating system, what drives you, so that you can focus on that and then re-engineer your activities and your goals to take advantage of what drives you. Let me read one more. Okay, there it is. Exactly. I was bothered too after receiving notifications severally. You see that? Felicia says every single day for 1,000 days. Exactly. And this is day 26. So we still have mathematicians. Type it in the comment section. Okay, I don't want to say it. How many more days left? We've done 26 out of 1,000. All right. So these are the motivation secrets. And I found this verse from the Jewish Torah, from their writing. David was greatly distressed, for the people spoke of stoning him. This is Victorian English. Because the soul of the people was grieved, every man for his sons and for his daughters. But David encouraged himself in the Lord his God. So why this touched me specifically in the context of the conversation today is that every one of us will always get to that situation where the encouragement, the motivation is not going to come from anywhere but from within yourself. Did you hear what I just said? This is a major key. And then I'm sure that you have come to that point in your life where nothing else could encourage you except yourself. If you have been in that situation like King David, type yes in the chat. You've been in a situation where there was no encouragement from anywhere. So you faced two options. You either encourage yourself or you quit. I have been there so many times. Okay. I remembered when my mother passed away. It was horrible. Nothing could comfort me. My father went first of all. I thought it was bad. And then my mother went 7 years after my father went. And I was what people called inconsolable. So when you get into situations of bereavement or loss or some major business failure, has anybody experienced business failure here? Type yes in the chat. So life presents you with situations where encouragement is not going to come from anywhere other than yourself. This is why this conversation today is very important. You are going to be in situations where if you don't encourage yourself, you are going to quit. And then so many people who have gone on the mental brink and hurt themselves, unalive themselves, they came to that point. Because if you can't encourage yourself, when you find yourself in that situation, what's the natural consequence? It's called depression. Okay, so you either encourage yourself. So when you come to that, always remember what we are discussing today whenever you come to that position. All right. So let's delve in straight into the motivation equation. Everybody type motivation equation. This is going to be the game changer for you. It's going to be the game changer for your business. It's going to be the game changer for your parenting style. It's going to be the game changer for your relationships. Remember, I am so family focused because you are a business owner or you're a professional. You come from family. Everybody here has family, either family of your own or you come from a family. So I need you to start paying attention to family and to how all these things, to the implication of all the things that we are talking about on family life. So motivation equation. Let me make it as simple as possible. All right, so this is in the motivation literature. This is from the motivation literature from research that's been done on motivation over the past 100 years. So motivation is equal to expectancy times value divided by impulsivity times delay. Please don't mind the big English. Let me break it down. Just take a breath. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. It's very, very simple. Because I know that many of us didn't like mathematics in school. So whenever anything starts with equals and then has times and over, we start switching off. Don't switch off. This is very, very easy. Now, what this is basically saying is that if you have expectancy, the expectancy is that your effort, this work you are doing, this task, this goal, that this thing that you embarked on, that it will lead to a successful outcome. So that is the expectancy. You expect to succeed. You expect that eventually at the end of the year, you are going to be able to save enough money for that vacation to the Caribbean that your family has been planning for 2 years. That's expectancy. Or you have this expectancy that you are going to recover from the stage 2 cancer or from whatever illness. This expectancy. Value is talking about the importance that you attach to that outcome. In other words, how badly you want it. In fact, that is a major driver of motivation. How badly you want it. How valuable is it to you? When I was courting my beautiful wife, I was living, and I don't know for many of you who don't live in Lagos how to explain. For some of you who are from the Gambia, or some of you watching from Europe or from the United States. But let me just say that where she lived compared to where I lived was so remote. But it was very, very far. I was staying in K2 in Lagos, which was an upgrade from the slum in Makoko that I stayed in. And then she was staying in a much more elite place in Aguda, in Surulere. That was the distance. And then considering Lagos and the traffic in Lagos, for those of you who don't know, I've been told that I should be in Bangladesh I should visit Bangladesh in the next 2 years. Next 2-3 years is one of my plans. Is it Bangladesh I hear has bad traffic, but I'm not sure that the people have experienced it in Lagos. But do you know, I will leave from work, go to this girl's place, and then get back home very late, 11 p.m. to 12, humming and very happy. Because of the value. My girl is there. If you've ever been in love before, you're a man or you're a woman, you're in love before. You see that you could do, if they tell you, like, I know there's some culture, there are some cultures in Africa where if you have to marry a girl, and then if you're from that culture, please just type yes. I think the Fulanis do it. So where if you have to marry a girl, they will give you some 40 strokes of cane. And then people take 40 strokes because of the girl they love, because of the value. They take 40 strokes of cane like it's nothing, like somebody just brushed their skin. So do you see how powerful this motivation equation is? So it's just basically saying that if your effort will lead, if you believe that your effort, that if you do this, if you save $500 a month, that effort will lead to you being able to afford the Caribbean cruise for the family in November. If you believe that effort, and then you believe that you put so much value rather on that vacation or on that relationship, because that's also the same thing that motivates relationships to thrive. The degree to which you really love and serve each other, or you serve your wife, or you serve your husband, it's directly proportional to the value, to how much you value that man and to how much you value that woman. You will go the length, you will cross 7 seas to go and save her if you value her. Now, impulsivity is basically talking about the tendency for us to get distracted by social media, by technology, by maybe another woman in the office. Because if you are distracted by another woman in the office, what does it do? It lowers the value you place on your wife. But if she is highly valued to you, then there is literally zero impulsivity. Are you getting this? Are you getting value? Type value, type value, type value in the comment section. Let me just know that we are together. Is this making sense? Type value, type makes sense, the comment section. All right. Okay, so let me just make sure that you're together. And please, if you're joining us, if you're just joining us, go ahead and share. Of course, hit that like button or the love button. It really helps the algorithm for a lot of people to discover this. Don't you agree that everyone in your network should hear what you're hearing today? Yes, value. So share it, okay? Share it right now and then type shared in the comment section. Let me know that you have shared it. Fantastic. Yeah, share it, everybody. Yes, Malik. Excellent. Patience says makes sense. Yep. Lillian says, yeah. Love the way you hype your wife. Seriously. Yeah, we're talking about value. We're talking about value. She's so precious. She's such a treasure, such a huge treasure. And so whatever you value, you keep. All right. Now, the delay is talking about the time between the effort and the reward. In other words, that's your Caribbean cruise. If it is 5 years away, you will not be as motivated as if it is 3 months away. Because if it's five years away, you still procrastinate a little bit and things like that. So this is the breakdown of this motivation equation. Motivation is expectancy, which is that the belief you have that this will lead to a successful outcome times the value you place on that outcome. How badly do you want it? How badly do you want 6 packs? How badly do you want a body that, maybe you're doing size 16 right now, lady, and then you want to bring it to 12 in the next 1 year? How badly you want it will determine how often you wake up and hit the gym. How badly you want it will determine how you look at the junk food. When you go for all these parties and then they are sharing all these junk food, all these whatever, I don't know what they call them, small chops and things like that. When the smell hits your nose and then you see all your friends, everybody chewing it, eating it, it's how bad you want to come to size 12 that will motivate you not to eat it. So this is a very powerful equation. This is very, very powerful, very applicable. And I would like you to come up with ways. I'm going to suggest how you apply all this in your life. So you need to think about, how do you apply this in your relationship? How do you apply this in your business? So you want to hit an income goal of 500 million, of $1 million, of whatever it is. How motivated is your workforce? Because this is for the individual, this is for the corporate organization as it is for the individual. If you do not have a motivated workforce, you are not going to achieve anything. Okay? So now, let's talk about how you apply the motivation equation, because that's important. It's not just enough knowing about it, but you also need to know how to apply it in your own life, starting from tonight. You want to ask yourself, what is it that will make you to jump out of bed first thing tomorrow morning, highly pumped up with 1,000 horsepower? Okay? Clark, Stephanie, thank you for joining. Martin Nzori, thanks. Thank you for joining us. Ezama Gloria. Derek Lick, thank you for being here. Awesome. Okay. All right. So how do you apply the motivation equation? So in simple terms, motivation is strongest when you believe that you can succeed. So the first component is that belief that you can succeed, which cycles back to self-efficacy that I had mentioned sometime. So your internal dialogue and your internal image, your internal mapping of yourself and of what is possible for you affects motivation. If you have low self-esteem, you are going to suffer because you are not going to do well in terms of expectancy. Many people don't feel worthy. So you've got to feel worthy of that goal. And then everybody sees Ronaldo doing it, Messi. You see all those these high people, these great people. You hear about Elon Musk, you hear all these people. And then you look at yourself and you feel like a grasshopper, like the spies that were sent to spy out the land of Canaan. So your motivation will explode when you believe you can succeed, when you highly value the outcome, the objective. If your objective is financial freedom, how badly do you value it? Do you know that if you value it badly enough, you will spend money? I have been advertising Financial Fitness Challenge to help you. So look at what you've sat down under to hear free. How much more when you are in an inner circle? It is that motivation, it is that how you value your financial freedom that will make you decide to go with 1 meal a day or 2 meals a day so that you can save something every single day to begin to put aside to invest. Is how you value your financial freedom that will make you do certain things that people are saying is not possible. There are people who are saving insanely, delaying gratification because of the value they place in their future. Don't you know that if you enjoy today, if you have pleasure today, you're going to suffer tomorrow? But if you suffer today and go through the process, then you are going to enjoy tomorrow. And it's all dependent on the value you put on the outcome. Okay? Third factor, when you are not easily distracted. In other words, your motivation will grow when you have low impulsivity. Do you know some people spend 6 hours, 8 hours, even 10 hours a day on social media, consuming entertainment, consuming comedy skits, consuming gossip blogs, stupid news about celebrity divorce and fights and all that? Oh my God. And these are people who want to be rich. How in the world will you become rich with that kind of content? You're so easily distracted. Some other people, you're working, you say, okay, you just want to take a 5-minute break, you go to TikTok. By the time TikTok algorithm finishes with you, you've spent 2.5 hours or 3 hours. And then you close at 5, at close of business, and then you've done nothing. So you need low impulsivity. And then finally, when the reward is nearer in time, and then one way you can make your reward come nearer in time is that you don't have to wait until you've gone to that vacation in the Caribbean to feel the feelings of already having been there. And that's what I do. There's a particular place I want to visit right now. I want to visit in the Caribbean. And I don't want to wait until I go there. I'm collecting images. I've looked at hotels, so I'm looking at hotels. I'm looking at the beaches. I already know that country has 2 islands. Is it one country with 2 islands? I already know what they produce. I already know the population. So I'm gathering. So I'm already there. I don't have to wait until the next 1 year when I visit that land. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's one way to make the reward come closer, because if the thing is looking too distant, your motivation will drop. All right. So motivation takes your skills and talents and turns them into achievement. This is a quotable quote, right? That's my quote. Motivation takes your skills and talents and turns them into achievement. In other words, skills and talents are not enough. Do you know how many people have skills and talents, but because they are not motivated, they are paupers, they are failures, drifting, no purpose, nothing. They just wake up and go to bed. Do you know anybody like that? Very talented person, but they are not getting results in their life because they are not motivated. And it is sad when you watch it in your children. When you see an unmotivated teenager goes into his 20s and then the child is unmotivated. He stays at home playing video games and whatever, watching Netflix, but his mates have already left him. that's a very serious thing. And he's comfortable living in your house, eating, drinking. So motivation takes your skills and talents and turns them into achievements. All right. So this is the final part. Let's talk about the practical tips. So I'm going to share with you 5 ways very, very quickly, but I would like you to go back through this and take it one after the other and implement it in your own situation. So I have studied lots of great people, read a couple of biographies, and then also my own personal experience. I've come up with 5 core things that you can do. Remember, we're talking about how to motivate yourself every day. Some of you here already do it, so you can testify to how powerful it is. First one is you must have a purposeful morning routine. When I wake up, I don't jump. Like my own routine, I can just share a few. I don't jump out of bed when I wake up. I sit up, I do some breathing exercise and calm myself a lot. I visualize the day and also visualize my most important goals. Then I read the scripture and I let the Holy Spirit speak to me from that scripture and speak to me about the rest of my day. So I have to get instructions what to do. So that's my morning ritual. When I finish that, many of you already know that I jog every day. So I go out there and jog. And then when I'm in places where I'm unable to jog, I find a gym to go there. That is fantastic. So you see, your morning routine is powerful because that's what needs to set a positive tone. And because I do it every day, I do not have a dull day. I do not have a dull day. There's so much energy. And I use up that energy because typically when I hit the bed in the night, I hit the bed and just go. So purposeful morning routine is important, okay? All right, that is number 1. Number 2, set clear goals. Clear and relatable and achievable goals. Okay, so goals help to increase your expectancy. Remember the equation? Remember the motivation equation? You really want to have high expectancy. Goals also raise the value. So you can break your day into manageable tasks and then focus on just 2 to 3 key objectives that will move you closer to your larger goals. And then what I do for myself as a business owner and as a coach, my day focuses around my clients and my customers. Everything focuses around my clients. Because I have told you before in previous sessions that your customer is your business and your business is your customer. Those are one and the same thing. So if you're not taking care of customers, if you're not creating value, if you're not helping them, if you're not delivering the value, okay, like our financial fitness challenge is starting tomorrow. So I think about them. So, and I make notes and I create sessions to help them achieve their goals. So break it into 2 to 3 key objectives that will move you closer to your goals. Number 3, visualize success. How many of you have a vision board? If you don't have, that is something you can implement immediately. Visualize it. All right. So that also enhances expectancy. Do you see how that thing is? All these things are funneling back to that motivation equation. So all these tips I'm giving you are just enhancing or applying the motivation equation. Number 4, prioritize high impact activities. See, because what this will do is also to reduce your impulsivity. Okay? Because if you focus on, like the Pareto principle, the 20% of activities that produce 80% of your results, you are going to see that you are focused on your vector of highest impact for the day. And can you imagine if every day for 365 days you're focusing on high impact activities? Who told you that your life will remain the same or that your business will remain the same? But the thing is that most of us spend time working on things that don't count, working on things that don't align or count, to our purpose and our goals. And then we wonder. Then number 5, very, very important. And then in fact, when I worked with Stanford University, this came close to me because I began to see the little habits and practices that made Stanford what Stanford is. And I hope you know that for many years, Stanford Graduate School of Business has remained the number one in the world, while Harvard is doing like number 4, number 3 position. And then one of the things that we did in Stanford, after every day of the immersion week or some project that we did, every single day in the morning we do what we call a huddle. So we huddle together for a couple of minutes to sort of dream together, to weave how the day is going to go. Then at the end of the day, we also come together and then to reflect on how the day went. And then we will ask what worked, what didn't work, what needs to be improved. And then in the military, that's also what the military, especially the American military, uses to maintain incredible performance. So they call it after action review, AAR. So after every action, they come back and they review it, everything to the details. Because if you're not reviewing, you wouldn't know what to adjust. So this is why it's important. These 5 practices are very, very important. Okay, so promise me that you are going to implement them. All right, everybody type promise, type I promise. I want to start seeing results. Remember, I'm not doing this for the sake of doing it. I'm doing it because I want to see outcomes in your businesses, in your family, in your life. I want to see transformation. And I want you to tell me about them, how you are transforming, because that's going to be my reward, that you are taking these things, implementing them, and getting results. Don't fail to send me a WhatsApp message. Don't fail to also type in the comment section. Let people know if you're getting value, if you're implementing these things, and then your life is changing in some way, your family life is changing in some way, your business is growing in some way as a result of these things I'm sharing with you. For goodness sake, don't keep it to yourself. Okay? It's important that you say it out. Send me testimonials. If you want to send like a video thing, send me, tell me what's going on. Okay. All right. So this is where we are going to pack it today. We continue tomorrow, but it's not going to be at the same time. So always watch my live page for the update and for the adjusted time, because from tomorrow we are going to be running the financial fitness challenge, and it is going to happen at exactly the same time that this has been going on. But we will always have this. Either we have it live or I pre-record it and send to you, but we will not miss any day for the next 1,000 days. I hope this has been some great value for you. So thank you for spending the evening with me. Some of you is morning, some of you is afternoon. And whatever happens, keep showing up, keep motivated. Because you don't know, you have no idea what's coming your way next. And I'll see you tomorrow.